Hello everyone, welcome back again to this live section. Thank you so much, for being with me in this channel. So guys, if you're not doing anything at the moment, please can you leave it and come and listen to what I have to tell you guys. So let's dive into what we really have today. Now, across the world, federal fighters are celebrated. In South Africa, Julius Malema is honored. In Ghana, Kuma Kuruma is remembered. But in Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu, a man fighting for the dignity and the self-determination of his people, remains locked up in a DSS dungeon without evidence, without justice, without trial. And the biggest shock is that the Nigerian Bar Association, the supposed defenders of the law, have chosen silence. Today, we will expose judicial compromise and the political hypocrisy and the international embarrassment Nigeria is facing over this case. Now, during the NBA conference at Enugu, high-profile lawyers gathered to discuss justice and human rights. Yet, no one Igbo lawyer, not one top NBA voice, spoke about Nnamdi Kanu's illegal detention. Even when Tamata Zimbabwe wrote personal letters urging even when Nnamdi Kanu wrote personal letters urging the NBA to tell the Nigerian judiciary to do the needful, they ignored it. Now, the silence is complicit. When lawyers refuse to defend justice, injustice strives. Some Nigerian judges handling this case has been accused of compromise. There are reports of political interference and backroom pressures preventing a fair trial. In several hearings, the DSS failed to present credible evidence linking Nnamdi Kanu to terrorism. Yet, bail was repeatedly denied. This is no longer about law, it's about politics and power. In a historical ruling, the Kenya High Court declared Nnamdi Kanu's extraordinary detention illegal. The court called it abominable, a breach of international law, and fined the Kenya government for collaborating with Nigeria. This verdict proved beyond doubt that Nnamdi Kanu's rights was violated. If a foreign court can acknowledge injustice, why is Nigeria pretending that nothing happened? Why? Now, this extraordinary rendition violates Nigerian Constitution, Section 36, which is the right to fair hearing, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and the UN Convention Against Torture. Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, blindfolded, tortured, and flown into Nigeria without due process. Nigeria risks international sanctions for blatantly ignoring global legal norms. So, guys, I'm going to be playing a video for you guys of where this man, this traditionalist came out to talk about Nnamdi Kanu and what really happened in that NBA conference in Enugu State. Tell me, how come that they are bringing out Julius Malema as a freedom fighter? So Nnamdi Kanu is not also a freedom fighter. See the way they discriminated Nnamdi Kanu as if he's not also a freedom fighter. I don't want to really talk, man. I want you guys to listen to this man, and please drop your comment below because I'll be right back, to take a look at what will really happen. I'll be looking at exactly everything that happened in NBA today, guys. Just take a look at this video and I'll be right back.
The teaching magnet. And today, I'm not in the best of mood, and I'm not going to waste your time today. I'm going to go directly to the topic of why I came. I'm not teaching. This is an open letter to the Nigerian Bar Association, Igbo chapter. Every practicing lawyer called to bar in Igbo land, this is an open letter to you. First of all, I will start by saying shame unto you. I repeat, shame unto you. Whatever I say tonight, this is addressed to the Nigerian Bar Association that are Igbos in particular. Every Igbo person that is called to bar. Whatever I say tonight, I am open for litigation, which means you can sue me and fine. Whatsoever penalty that comes with it, I'll bear it. And I will start by saying again, shame unto you. 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 Every member of the Nigerian Bar Association that is an Igbo person, a big shame unto all of you. And with due respect, the Excellency, Governor Peter Amba, with due respect, the MBA forum that was held in Enugu, you people went all the way to South Africa to get Julius Malema. He was given a moment to speak as a keynote speaker. And Julius Malema, who we know as a freedom fighter, was applauded and he spoke. Julius Malema is one of the men I respect. In fact, when I went to South Africa earlier this year, I went to the camp of Julius Malema to see if I can have an audience with him to reason with him in an interview in my podcast. So that is for you to know how much I respect him. But let me say this. You people went all the way to South Africa to get Julius Malema to come and give a keynote speaker as a freedom fighter all the way from South Africa. But you people are lawyers called to bar. And so shameful to identify with Nnamdi Kanu just because it's Igbo. Just because not born Igbo. Shame on to you people. I am open for litigation. Nonsense here. Alona put in the bany. Cannot keep no social cadiness in a kalunuma. Social codos menace in a kalunuma. Olurana Konye Zulu Chenukol Javana Quaka. Manankimun on a moon fella. Oh, Julius Malema bu a freedom fighter, man, and Nnamdi Kanu bonyori. Kankweni bo kaupuno susu nuwa bundibo, makanifelu ne tumiru. Feni ne bundo kibe bundibo, ifelu ne mebuom. Oh, Obruni atomunga tuamunga, ifelu ne mebuom. Una watch a post or Jabolo Malema all the way from South Africa. Obianyelu no keynote. Freedom fighter, na kolo Malema. I respect Julius Malema so much. Unjustly held, nothing to be proven in the court of law. Proven to reason age detain no na DSS. No reason. And all of you people can no troop and go to Abuja. Kaskana nunu bialo troop oje to Abuja. Asina ekete na me blue never no be, but all of you stood there in shame. Na kolo Malema aka, but you cannot champion. Cannot share up Mazen Nandika. Opera no only one chamalefe. Nuncha napuna. But open only Luna Makoriaka. Open no only one napuna. But open only lo. Uncha Jacobariaka. Emeluni hen keme. Umlabumon dinisium them. Umlabumon abulunu. Umlabumon abulun nisot and kuna faunaro. Tell me if there is a curse laid on my people and I shall find a cure for such madness. Let me remind you people. No bro sociably na men zolondola inwelonwenwe. Adime kuno na emetekia mana na ebuluzo zota madu bife bebie ikpe. Kedebe sondi bo no. Akwandi me fa je boputia ndo ki ibe nwanne fa zoputia zonye kedebe nkunu no. Unna kolo Malema aka kam fentie nunu kolo Malema aka. Ifelo nemekun. Ifelo nemekun. Obuno nke aka mmeji jenga tuono munga. Nigerian Bar Association onye obuna bu onye Igbo no na MBA. Tuono munga ma obuno nke aka mmeji ke ifele megwo unu. Kedi ifele kedi onye melu ni ife na akọ na uche. Kedi melu ni ife na akọ na uche nu na ama nwe chiche mmado. How many times have the Nigerian Bar Association Igbo chapters gathered themselves to say, let us go to Abuja and stay one day, help Kanu Agabi and the team and fight for his case?
So guys, I actually played this video for you guys, so you guys should listen to what this man said. Now, for people who did not really understand him, because he was speaking in an Igbo dialect, he's trying to say that these people brought Julius Malema, who is a freedom fighter, and also Nnamdi Kanu is also a freedom fighter. So the fact that they brought that Julius Malema out, and they're clapping for him and everything, does he make Nnamdi Kanu a criminal? Like the way they are discriminating Nnamdi Kanu. The worst part of it is that the people who are that's the people who went to the NBA, so many Igbo lawyers who were there couldn't even speak for Nnamdi Kanu. According to the video I watched from that NBA, the only people who spoke for Nnamdi Kanu was his lawyer Maxwell Okpara and Deji Adenuga. He was talking about IPOB people who have been detained who have been detained for so long. He talked about it, and even in looking at the video as he was about to talk about it, the person who was addressing the thing was tried to shut him up, tried to shut Deji up, but he still insisted that he must talk about the IPOB members who have been locked up for several years. He talked about it. And now this man, for people who do not understand what he's saying that how come you guys are discriminating your own brother, but you're clapping and hailing for Julius Malami? What is the difference between Julius Malami and Nnamdi Kanu? You guys start Nnamdi Kanu as a criminal. So Julius Malami is not the one who is a freedom fighter. This is totally bad. Anyway, another person who talked about the release of Nnamdi Kanu again in NBA was Peter Mba, the governor of Enugu State. He also talked about his release. I'll be playing you guys the video for you guys so you guys can watch what is going on in the NBA conference. And I'll be right back. Please drop your comment below because we'll be right back to tell you guys the reason why people are really angry over the way the Igbo lawyers who went for the NBA conference. I'm not talking about Nnamdi Kanu. Even after writing a letter, even after Nnamdi Kanu wrote a letter to them. Guys, just watch this and I'll be right back.
And I think that addresses that. The next question was on so I think he talked about the judicial, so we will address that. Now, so I'm sure some of you followed my position about Nnamdi Kanu the day I was sworn in. I guess my first visit to the president was the discussion on Nnamdi Kanu, and I came out and granted an interview about what I had just discussed with the president. So I still believe that the right thing to do is to release Nnamdi Kanu, and hopefully that will happen soon. Again, we do not, just as I mentioned in my opening remarks, leadership is not rocket science. First of all, it starts with imagination. And you have to talk about, once you're able to imagine, looking at the trends and looking at the pattern of growth we inherited, if that had been what guided our projections or our vision, then we wouldn't even be where we are today or even getting close. We felt that even though that model of growth may have served us to where we are today, but in order for us to build on what we have, to get to where we want to take our people, where we believe our people ought to be, we needed to think outside what we were already familiar with. So let's take the growth projection. If we look at our trend, our growth rate had been it oscillated between 2 and 4% in the last 20 years. And we came in and said, we're going to grow the economy sevenfold. We're going to grow it from $4.4 billion to $30 billion. That in itself is disruptive because you're talking about 27% compound annual growth rate. So how do you reconcile that? You could have the critics or the naysayer challenge that but we then immediately added that we're going to deploy disruptive innovation. Disruptive in a positive sense. It means we have to interrogate the status quo. We have to basically do things differently and do a quantum leap, which is largely what we have done, because we cannot build the infrastructures we're talking about if we don't have a revenue model that supports that. So we needed to also even disrupt that model. We said we want to achieve a 0% headcount rate in our poverty index. That also meant that we are moving from 58% poverty headcount rates that we inherited to 0%. The trend did not support that. So it also means that we needed to deploy disruptive strategies, to achieve that. and then we want to make Enugu State the preferred destination. Those goals are in themselves intertwined. If you want to grow your economy, you need to be able to, on your own as government, you're unable to achieve that. That means you need to attract private sector. And in order for you to bring in private sector, there are fundamentals that you must have, and which is why a lot of the projects we're executing, they are all connecting the dots towards leading us to that $30 billion economy, towards ensuring that we achieve a 0% headcount. And for us, this is just the beginning, because we're just laying the foundation. And there are still a whole lot to come, where, $30 billion economy is not a child's play. And we understand what it takes in order to achieve that. That's why we're targeting achieving a 3 million visitors in 2027. And we're not just wishing that into existence. We're also putting in place the structure to attract that number of visitors. And so we're pushing. We haven't done anything crazy in terms of the things we have accomplished. One of the things we're also very excited about is what we're doing in the education sector. I mean, you tend to see the conference center, your site where it's beautiful, it's nice. But the truth is that the real funds we're spending as a state is going to education, it's going to healthcare. 55% of our total budget is dedicated to social services. And that is why where we see this poverty thing, how we can lift our people out of the poverty pit. Building 7,000 classrooms within 2 years, not just classrooms, but making sure that each classroom is equipped with modern digital facilities. So it is thinking outside the...
I want you to intensify effort. Let them come in the list so that you have peace. Thank you, God bless you.
Some of you followed my position about Nnamdi Kanu. Lately I was sworn in. I guess my first visit to the president was the discussion on Nnamdi Kanu, and I came out and granted an interview about what I had just discussed with the president. So I still believe that the right thing to do is to release Nnamdi Kanu, and hopefully that will happen soon.
Let them come in the list so that you have peace. Thank you, God bless you.
Some of you followed my position about Nnamdi Kanu. Lately I was sworn in. I guess my first visit to the president was the discussion on Nnamdi Kanu, and I came out and granted an interview about what I had just discussed with the president. So I still believe that the right thing to do is to release Nnamdi Kanu, and hopefully that will happen soon. Everybody, whether you wanted or not, you were compelled to sit at home. And if you did not, it means that you're going to have a violent attack either on your property or on yourself. So that was the situation with Enugu. But I can tell you today, even...
So guys, you guys have listened to what the governor of Enugu State said, which is Peter Mba, what he said about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He was saying that the best thing to do is to release what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is just it. That is just the best thing to do. As well as what his lawyer, Maxwell Okpara, also said. Now, I believe this case goes beyond Nnamdi Kanu. It's a mirror showing Nigerians' broken judicial system, the selective application of laws, and our failure to protect human rights. If Nigeria continues down this path, it risks international isolation and deeper internal divisions. The government must act now. Release Nnamdi Kanu or give him a fair, transparent trial. That is it. They must act now. And I love the fact that many people we are talking about, just few, not many. Few were talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu in the NBA. Just few were talking about it. But other Igbo lawyers, they were talking another thing. They didn't even want to talk about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, which is why this man came out. He was so angry, saying that what is the difference between Julius Malami and the Nnamdi Kanu? That they are coming out clapping for Julius Malami like this, forgetting that their own brother has been discriminated and detained for a very long time. Now, high-profile politicians, there's a double standard in Nigerian justice system. High-profile politicians are accused of embezzling billions, get swift bail, and even political appointments. Nnamdi Kanu, against whom no evidence has been presented, is still locked up. Nigeria's justice system isn't blind; it is selectively what? Blind. Justice delayed is justice denied, and in Nnamdi Kanu's case, justice isn't just delayed; it is being strangled. Since Nnamdi Kanu's detention, economic activities in the southeast have been plummeted. Sit-at-home protests have crippled businesses, causing billions in losses monthly. Nigeria's refusal to resolve this case fuels instability and insecurity in the region. A fair resolution to Nnamdi Kanu's case could restore peace, commerce, and stability in the southeast. Nigeria is a signatory to international conventions guaranteeing the right to self-determination. Article 20 of the African Charter: all people shall have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. By criminalizing Nnamdi Kanu's agitation, Nigeria is violating treaties it voluntarily signed. The world is watching. If Nigeria continues to ignore these obligations, international courts could step in. The NBA prides itself as the defender of the rule of law. By ignoring this case, they undermine their own credibility. All these people that you see that is parading themselves as they have been called to bar. All these lawyers that you see that are parading themselves that they have been called to bar, that they came to this NBA conference in Enugu State. All these things that they came out there to do. Did they ever talk about Nnamdi Kanu? Did they? No, they didn't even talk about it. I was so surprised when Deji this lawyer, this very dark man lawyer, Deji. I know you guys know him. He came out and was talking about IPOB. Yes, IPOB members who have been arrested for a very long time. Even this husband and wife who was arrested, they said that they were associated with IPOB when they are not even associated at all. These people are never associated with IPOB. These people came out and Deji came out and was talking about them, that they should release these people. They are not associated with IPOB. They are not associated with IPOB. So why are they not saying that they are associated with IPOB? That was it. And in the process of Deji, coming out, to say such a thing, the speaker, tried to interrupt him. Tried to interrupt him, telling him, okay, let's round up, let's go through let's not really go into details. And immediately there was a lot of crowd, noise came out from the crowd. They were like, no, that he should continue, that Deji should continue. That was when Deji now continued talking about the IPOB members who have been arrested for a very long time. And this husband and wife who have also been arrested, they said that they are associated with IPOB. Why they are not associated with IPOB? And Deji was talking about their release. Apart from Maxwell Okpara, Deji and Peter Mba, nobody else talked about the release of Mass. Nobody talked about Mass Nnamdi Kanu. In all the whole big lawyers, the whole lawyers that came to Enugu State, none of them came out to talk about Peter Mba. It's a shocking thing, really. The NBA parades itself as defender of the rule of law. By ignoring this case, they undermine their own credibility. NBA silence sends a dangerous message. Some citizens don't deserve justice, others don't. Lawyers should not serve political masters. They should serve justice. They should not serve political masters. They should serve justice. Many Igbo governors and senators avoid Nnamdi Kanu stopping because they fear losing political favors from Abuja. Some even sabotage efforts to secure his release for personal gain. History will not be kind to those who remain silent when their people's dignity was under attack. When your brother is in chains and you keep silent, the chains are coming for you next. That's one thing they don't understand. Anyway, guys, I'm going to play this video again for people who have not really heard what this man said. This man spoke nothing but the fact. He said the truth in this video. Guys, just watch this video and hear what these traditionalists have to say concerning Nnamdi Kanu and Julius Malami. Guys, just watch this and I'll try to explain more.
And today, I'm not in the best of mood and I'm not going to waste your time today. I'm going to go directly to the topic of why I came. I'm not teaching. This is an open letter to the Nigerian Bar Association, Igbo chapter. Every practicing lawyer called to bar in Igbo land, this is an open letter to you. First of all, I will start by saying shame unto you. I repeat, shame unto you. Whatsoever I say tonight, this is addressed to the Nigerian Bar Association that are Igbos in particular. Every Igbo person that is called to bar. Whatsoever I say tonight, I am open for litigation, which means you can sue me and fine. Whatsoever penalty that comes with it, I'll bear it. And I will start by saying again, shame unto you. 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 Every member of the Nigerian Bar Association that is an Igbo person, a big shame unto all of you. And with due respect, the Excellency, Governor Peter Amba, with due respect, the MBA forum that was held in Enugu, you people went all the way to South Africa to get Julius Malema. He was given a moment to speak as a keynote speaker. And Julius Malema, who we know as a freedom fighter, was applauded and he spoke. Julius Malema is one of the men I respect. In fact, when I went to South Africa earlier this year, I went to the camp of Julius Malema to see if I can have an audience with him to reason with him in an interview in my podcast. So that is for you to know how much I respect him. But let me say this, you people went all the way to South Africa to get Julius Malema to come and give a keynote speaker as a freedom fighter all the way from South Africa. But you people are lawyers called to bar. And so shameful to identify with Nnamdi Kanu just because it's Igbo. Just because not born Igbo. Shame unto you people. I am open for litigation. Nonsense here. Alona put in the bani, cannot couple, no social cadiness in a calunuma, social codos, menace in a calunuma. Olurana, Konye Zunun Chenukol Javana Quaka, Manakimun on a moon fella. Oh, Julius Malema, bu a freedom fighter, man, and Nnamdi Kanu Bonyori. Kankweni, Bokono Susunu Bundibo, Macanifalun ne Tumiru. Fenine Bundo, Kibe Bundibo, Falune, Megum. Oh, Obruni Atomunga, Tuamunga. Ifelu na-emegbuom. Una watch a post for Jebolo Malema all the way from South Africa. Obianyelu unu keynote. Freedom fighter na akolo Malema. I respect Julius Malema so much. Mana na enu mkunu. Wanne unu. Unjustly held. Nothing to be proven in the court of law. Prove him to reason eji detain no na DSS. No reason. Manunu ncha na anya elo ngu na asinda call to back. And all of you people can no troop and go to Abuja. Kaskana nunu bialo troop oje to Abuja. Asina ekete na blue never know, but all of you stood there in shame. Na akolo Malema aka, but you cannot champion, cannot cheer up Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Obra no onyi Igbo nu ncha amalefe. Nu ncha nakuna. Mana obu no onyi luna na akoli aka. Obra no onyi Igbo nu ncha nakuna, ma obu no onyi ilo. Unu ncha akobali aka. Emelu ni ihe nke eme. Unwala abumonu di n'isi ụmụnne m. Unwala abumonu abulu unu. Unwala abumonu abulu unu n'izu ọtankunu na afia unu arụ. Tell me if there is a curse laid on my people and I shall find a cure for such madness. Let me remind you people. N'obro sosia bili na eme nzolondolo inwele onwenwe. Adime kuno na emetekia mana na ebulu zota mmadụ bife ekpebie ikpe. Kedebe Sunday Igbo no. Akwa ndị befa je gbapụtia ndị ọka ikpe nwanne fa zọpụtia zo onye. Kedebe nkunu no. Unu na-akụlụ Malema aka ka m fentie unu kụlụ Malema aka. Ifele ọ na-emekwu unu. Ifele ọ na-emekwu unu. Ọ bụrụ nke ka m ejije nga tụọnụ m nga. Nigerian Bar Association onye ọbụla bụ onye Igbo nọ na MBA tụọnụ m nga ma ọ bụrụ nke ka m ejike ifele mmegbuo unu. Kedu onye melu na ife a na-akọ n'uche? Kedu melu na ife a na-akọ n'uche? Nuna ama nwe echiche mmadụ. How many many times have the Nigerian Bar Association, Igbo chapters, gathered themselves to say, let us go to Abuja and stay one day, help Kanu Agabi and the team, and fight for his case.
So today I'm wearing two hats. I'm speaking on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm also speaking on my own behalf. My name is Aloy Ejimako. I'm the special counsel to Nnamdi Kanu and the indigenous people of Biafra. And I'm speaking to you from a location in Nigeria. The man, Nnamdi Kanu, is well known. He's everywhere. He's on Wikipedia. He's an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. But there's just a few things I need to tell you about him. What brought him to limelight was the formation of the indigenous people of Biafra in the United Kingdom in 2012. Simultaneously, he also founded Radio Biafra. And these two organizations were aimed at one thing: liberation for the people of Biafra, or restoration of the former Republic of Biafra that went defunct in 1970. The right to self-determination is a right that is guaranteed internationally, domestically, and continentally. It's within the black letters of Nigerian law at Article 20 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. The right to self-determination is guaranteed. So the formation of IPOB did not break any law. Not laws of United Kingdom, not international law, not Nigerian law. But guess what? When Nnamdi Kanu, who was born in Nigeria, but who acquired British citizenship later on, came to Nigeria in October 2015, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, which had come to power in May, decided to arrest him. He was not arrested between 2012 and 2015 because the government of the day at that time understood that self-determination is not a crime. But the government that came into power in 2015 in May decided that self-determination is going to be treated as a criminal activity. So he was arrested in Lagos. He was charged for treason, also for insulting the president and illegal importation of ready equipment. 3 charges. The treason one, they split it into 2, treason by himself and treason by conspiracy. This thing went on from 2015 until April 2017, when he was eventually granted bail. So he was detained for nearly 18 months. After granting him bail, he returned to his ancestral home in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and he was enjoying his bail when suddenly, between 10 September and 14 September 2017, the Nigerian army, without any justification whatsoever, levied lethal, massive military operations against Nnamdi Kanu's ancestral home. That day, he was sitting at home with so many people, his family members, including his 2 elderly parents. The attack was lightning, it was a bleakridge, it was massive, and it was not the type of an attack you will expect a national military force to levy on a civilian location. But they did. At the end of the day, 28 people lost their lives. Nnamdi Kanu sustained injuries. His parents sustained injuries as well, but somehow, by the grace of God, they all managed to escape. From there, the rest is history. And because there was a national and international manhunt for him by the security forces, which rules of engagement was to shoot, not to maim. If you see Nnamdi Kanu, if you encounter him anywhere, shoot not to maim. Not to maim, but shoot to kill. That's what they went there to do on 10 September, but they didn't succeed. But it went on. They went on in a manhunt. So Nnamdi Kanu was forced to flee the municipal boundaries of Nigeria in search of safe haven overseas. Eventually, in May 2021. He settled in Kenya, he entered Nairobi and settled in Kenya somewhere. He never knew that Nigerian security forces, the international branch of it, were laying in wait for him. They led an ambush for him. So on 19th June 2021, he drove himself to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on a personal errand. As soon as he drove into the parking lot and alighted from his vehicle, several well-armed security men suspected to be of a mixture of Nigerian and Kenyan security forces swooped on him, grabbed him, abducted him, and put him forcibly in a vehicle and drove away. Well, they didn't take him to the police station. They didn't take him to immigration because he was a foreigner. He should have been taken to immigration. They didn't take him to any official law enforcement facility. They took him to a secret location in Nairobi, a non-official secret location. So in effect, they disappeared him. And they kept him at that secret location for a whole 8 days. And those 8 days he endured horrendous torture. All these are matters of record between the various tribunals and courts before whom this matter has been brought. I cannot begin to give you all the details. Horrendous torture in violation of basic human rights, in violation of the laws of Kenya, Nigeria, and the international community. When Nnamdi Kanu was abducted on 19th June 2021, the proper thing that should have been done is to take him to a police station, from there to a court. And then if you wanted him back in Nigeria, you subject him to what is called extradition proceedings. This is a basic tenet of the law that you see in the laws of any nation. Kenya has an extradition act to which Nnamdi Kanu should have been subjected. But guess what? They didn't do that. They rather disappeared him for 8 days, tortured him to their heart's content. And on 27th June, they secretly brought him out from this location and took him through the back doors, evading Kenyan immigration, direct to the tarmac of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi, where a private plane was waiting. They bundled him into the plane, chained him to the chair, and everything. He endured 5-6 hours flight from Nairobi to Kenya in the most excruciating circumstances. They arrived in Nigeria late in the evening and the plane flew back to Nairobi. They took him to the headquarters of the National Intelligence Agency in Abuja, where he spent the first night with all the lights left on to assure his maximum discomfort. The following day, they transferred him to the headquarters of Directorate of State Security in Abuja. And on the third day, they brought him before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Federal High Court was well aware that Nnamdi Kanu has counsel of record. It was an open case, it wasn't a new case, a pre-existing case. But the Federal High Court decided to conduct the arraignment in violation of his constitutional right to counsel, and that arraignment led to the indefinite detention with which we are struggling today. Anyways, taking you back a few steps, the little military invasion of 2017 was not unrequited, judicially speaking. I took the matter before two tribunals, or a tribunal and a court. First, I took it to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which rendered a decision in March 2018 condemning the action and calling it a violation of the African Charter. And they wrote to the President of Nigeria, they wrote a letter to the President of Nigeria requesting him or directing him. They used diplomatic language, but the decision was there that what you did is wrong. So you need to roll it back. You need to reverse everything you have done, which includes declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization and hounding their members as criminals. The African Commission held that what Nigerian government was doing was persecution, not prosecution. That the IPOB and its members simply possess an inconvenient political opinion which the Nigerian government was seeking to suppress by means of punishment of some sort. And they asked or directed Nigerian government to reverse itself. Nigerian government never did. Rather, it escalated. Well, subsequently, I went to a local court, a high court in Abia State in eastern Nigeria. I sued the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigerian Army, and other parties who were confederates in that attack of September 2017. And in January 2022, fortunately for us, we won. The High Court made an order. The High Court reached a judgment that what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in September 2017 was a flagrant violation of his constitutional right to life and constitutional right to his privacy. And the court proceeded to make an order ordering the federal government of Nigeria or Federal Republic of Nigeria to pay him a compensation of 1 billion Nigerian naira, which is over $1 million US. The court also ordered the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President of Nigeria to issue a public apology to be published in 3 national Nigerian newspapers to Nnamdi Kanu. None of this has happened. So we kept that aside. So when they brought Nnamdi Kanu forcibly from Kenya without extradition proceedings, I characterized it an act of extraordinary rendition. Initially, there was a misunderstanding, a broad, widespread misunderstanding by vast majorities of Nigerians who were mouthing the cliche, Nnamdi Kanu extradited from Kenya. No, that was wrong. It wasn't. I told people it wasn't. It was extraordinarily renditioned or rendered, and that is against international law, Kenyan law, and laws of the Federation of Nigeria. So while his criminal trial was making its way slowly at Abuja, with all the several amendments the government was bringing, they walked away from treasonable felony, insulting the president, importation of radio equipment, and bam, to terrorism. That's how it happened. And they did this 7 times. 7 amendments. If Nnamdi Kanu was guilty, why is it taking so long to bring him to trial between 2015 and today? That is 8 years. So what he's undergoing is not really a judicial trial. It's a trial by ordeal. Trial by fire. Imprisonment before conviction. They just want to get as many years of jail time out of him as possible, because they know that with the evidence available, conviction will be impossible. And that was made worse by the extraordinary rendition, which I took also as a civil violation to a federal high court in Nigeria. And in October 2022, the Federal High Court came down with a judgment that extraordinary rendition was a violation of his constitutional rights, his fundamental rights, and they awarded him 500 million Nigerian naira. That's about $800,000. So all around, everywhere that this matter has gone to, including in July 2022, before the Human Rights Council at the United Nations. The Human Rights Council, United Nations, came down with an opinion that what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and that brought him to Nigeria is a very grave violation of international law, and they directed that he should be released unconditionally. And of course, the Court of Appeal in Nigeria did come down with a similar judgment. In same October 2022, discharging Nnamdi Kanu of all charges and bearing any further trial of his person in any court in Nigeria as a consequence, as a direct consequence of the extraordinary rendition. So what more can you ask for a man to deserve his freedom? How many have I counted? United Nations, which in this case should be considered a world court. Then you have the Nigerian Court of Appeal, which is the second highest court in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you have the Federal High Court, which is the court of first instance at the federal level. And of course, you have the State High Court that awarded him 1 billion Nigerian naira. So between 2015 and today, 8 years and running, Nnamdi Kanu has snagged 4 major victories against the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with Federal Republic of Nigeria winning nothing. What more do you need as stark evidence, affirmative evidence that what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is an act of persecution, not prosecution? It's time to end it. On his behalf, I will ask all men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world to speak up. There was this saying about Jews. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing because you're a trade unionist. Then when they came for the trade unionist, you say, well, I'm a scientist. You said nothing. They took the Jew, they took the trade unionist. And then when they came for the scientists, nobody spoke for you. Nnamdi Kanu is a poster boy for all the injustices that a great race, the Igbo people, and their cousins in the former eastern Nigeria have been subjected to since the founding of Nigeria. These injustices became more public because since 2015 they have been escalated. So how do you fight back? You fight back by telling the system, I want out. I want my own country is not a crime. It does not require a bullet. It doesn't require muscular military law enforcement. What it requires is sitting across the table and talking about it. A lot of nations have been founded on referendum. That's what Nnamdi Kanu and the Indigenous people of Biafra were asking for. That led to all this conundrum, to all this saga.
When the president calmed down, the reason Nnamdi Kanu have a discussion with him. You have been having a discussion with bandits and the so-called repentant Boko Haram. Tell me the offense of Nnamdi Kanu, because he's agitating for self-determination, which is his own constitutional fundamental rights granted to him by the constitution and the law.
Well, the government's angle is not because of the agitation, because they know that everyone has a right to agitate, but they said the way he was going about it, like and then people were being incited. Well, that's even not what I'm
what of the wife of the president incited people during the election? The wife of the president, he incited people that Igbo should go. What of the one of Lagos said that Igbo should go and fall into lagoon? What of those that came out and said that Igbos will not vote? If you are not voting for APC, you will not vote. What happened to them? Has anybody been arrested? That Nnamdi Kanu said something, then you now term that thing he said as is a terrorist, is a crime of terrorism. You charge him for terrorism. His own lawful organization that is registered in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe and Asia, and you now came to Nigeria, you term it a terrorist organization. Now you are now saying that now that IPOB is being recognized in almost all the whole countries, America and Europe. So you are now saying that America, France, Germany, they are recognizing a terrorist organization because you don't want anybody to agitate. You want to suppress anybody. if you talk, kill him, suppress him, jail him, in a country that is predicated on constitutional governance. It cannot work like that.
Okay, let's get back to the ministerial nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, because you said he took away one from Anambra and brought in another. But remember that the president took away the minister based on the KPI results that came out, which he was not even the one, that did the evaluation. It was the result given to him with which he did that, meaning that if actually the minister had performed, above board in the KPI, he wouldn't have had any reason to remove her rather.
Now, still on that ministerial list, we have 48 of them, am I right? And we have 36 states in this country, including FCT 37. So, apart from Southeast, that have only 5, every other region have more than 6, apart from Southeast. Now, take since 1999, we have been having series of presidents. Let's use what is going on now. The president is from where? Vice is from where? Speaker is from where? Senate President is from where? CJN is from where? Court of Appeal President is from where? National Industrial Court President is from where? Chief Judge of Federal High Court is from where? And they are saying that the people of Southeast belongs to this country.
Are you sure you're not? It's just like what I said too. I mean, isn't it time we started to be less sentimental about this diversity?
We have to apply it now. We are saying that the only people that are qualified to hold on this position, nobody from South is qualified. On what basis? Are you saying that
the chief of Naval Staff is from the Southeast? Huh? The chief of Naval Staff?
From where? I'm talking about the key position. Number 1 person, number 2 person, number 3 person, number 4 person, number 5 person. The key position, we have 3 arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament. You can never see anybody from Southeast there. Now, the point we are talking about is that when I'm not even talking about, I'm in court about lopsided appointments.
Okay.
I can avail that my process because I did an intensive research in that process. File it, asking court to view whether this particular appointment, whether this particular governance is in line with Federal Character Establishment Act, an act of National Assembly that said that you should carry everybody along. Section 14 of the Constitution also said that you should carry everybody along. And they are not doing all these things. You are telling me that, yes, now that you have removed Kennedy Ohanele and you are now brought in Bianca Ojukwu, that the people of Southeast will jubilate. Are you talking to idiots? Look at the people that you are talking about. Let me start with the source. In football, the people that have made Nigeria proud are the people of Southeast. In commerce, in aviation industry, name it. In academics, they are from people of Southeast. But when it comes to power, they are not qualified. And we want them to be happy. Listen, let me tell you, like today that is Monday, go to Southeast. And my annoyance is that these things are avoidable for Christ's sake. The one at Niger, the listening and the Kanu, let us start addressing this issue. This early morning, somebody sent me a clip, something they posted, that they said I think they said next week, the next 2 weeks, that there will be nothing like federal courts in the whole of Southeast. What do I mean by federal courts? Federal courts, National Industrial Court is a federal court. Federal High Court is a federal court. Court of Appeal is a federal court. Now, the judges that are there, most of them are not Igbos. Majority of them are not Igbos. How should you risk somebody to go and preside in the Court of Appeal or the Judicial Division, Oka Judicial Division, Enugu Judicial Division? How can you appoint somebody to go and preside in Federal High Court in the Southeast, National Industrial Court in the Southeast? And you are not even thinking about all this, and the judges are not even thinking about So the point we are talking about is that when there is a problem, look for a solution. Personally, somebody like us, we are not even, I'm defending Nnamdi Kanu, one of his lawyers. So when they say so you people are not doing what you're supposed to do, the person that is calling you, don't even know him. He's using a hidden number to call you. You don't even know what they're talking about. The only thing that you went to court and you were unable to bring Nnamdi Kanu out. They're not even safe.
Okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this, because from what you're saying, I've also heard IPOB many times deny, allegations of being involved in some of the killings that happen in the Southeast and some of the, the ills that we see in the society. Even the sit-at-home in question, IPOB has also claimed that he has not asked anybody to sit at home. I don't know, get my point. So the point I'm making is that from what you're saying, it would look as if what you're actually trying to say is that it's because Nnamdi is being held,
yes,
that is why the ills in the society in the Southeast has escalated. Does it have anything to do with him? That is what you're saying.
Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB is his initiative. He established it, he organized it. Now, when you now kidnapped him or adopted him and unlawfully, because the Supreme Court have said that he was unlawfully brought into this country. And you kept him incommunicado. Everybody on his own. This one we kill, you said at IPOB. This one we maim, you said at IPOB. Everybody on his own. That's why I asked you the question, who is IPOB? The IPOB you know is Nnamdi Kanu. So Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu is out, he will know who is who. Simon Ekpa will talk his own, Emma Powerful will talk his own, this one will talk his own, this one. Who is IPOB? That you are even talking. Simon Ekpa is in Finland. Emma Powerful, I don't know where he's operating from. Another person is operating from somewhere. Issuing threats. Just like the one somebody told me. I don't even know where that one is coming from. So the easiest way to do is the one that you know. Nnamdi Kanu. Then tell Attorney General, as he discontinue the charges against the president of Mieti Ala Kato, discontinue that of Showore, they are all terrorism. Tell them to discontinue that of Nnamdi Kanu. And allow Nnamdi Kanu to agitate. It is his right. I told you here the other day.
You see, that's where the problem is, really. The guarantee, that there will not be problems, even if Nnamdi Kanu is, because you're saying allow him to agitate, and he goes about it the way he used to, like, the government have actually feared. That may also create more problems, don't you think?
Let me tell you, there are some things that you asked me the other day whether they are talking about condition given Nnamdi Kanu. I told you one question. I say, if you give Nnamdi Kanu condition that he feel after meeting up that condition, he will still live like a human being. So be it. But when you give him condition and you are removing that made him a human being, he will tell you no. What is that made you a human being? That thing that makes you a human being is your ability to exercise your fundamental rights. And when somebody said, now I'm going to employ you here, I will be paying you $500,000 every month, but you will not talk. You will not move out. You say, do away with your job. When somebody said, I'm going to release you, but I'll cut one of your hands. Say no. The agitation for self-determination is a fundamental right. And if you people fail to understand it, I can agitate that I need the Republic of Maxwell. Yeah. It is my right. Anybody can agitate. I don't even need crowd to follow me. It is when you now feel that you have gotten the necessary need the necessary qualities, then so be it. It is now left for the president who believe in democracy, who believe in government of the people by the people, to apply your initiative. What is the initiative? Release the person. Start addressing all those issues that gave rise to this agitation. It has been there. Uwazirike was agitating during Obasanjo. A lot of people were agitating. So now that you have arrested, you come down Uwazirike that time. Nnamdi Kanu came up. Now that you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa is there. I think this data from Ned Nwoko was telling you that even if you arrest Simon Ekpa today, another Simon Ekpa will come out. So the issue there is that address all those issues.
Right. So for you, it's not about ministerial appointment.
No. That one. Okay, that one is a complete distraction. That one should not even come in. Okay. I'm in now.
So guys, I'm sure you guys have listened to what the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu is saying. Now, based on many people have been complaining based on this Nigerian Bar Association, conference meeting that took place in Enugu State, and I've been saying that Igbo leaders are silent. Yes, our Igbo leaders are silent, and even the Igbo lawyers who are in the NBA conference are also silent about what is going on. Then the silent about Nnamdi Kanu's case. None of them came out to speak about Nnamdi Kanu. None. This is a defining moment. The NBA must rise. Igbo leaders must unite. Nigeria must choose between justice and tyranny. Because one day, the chains we ignore today will blind us all. That is just it. This case is no longer just about Nnamdi Kanu. It's about whether Nigeria respects its own law, whether Nigerians can safely demand their rights without being silenced, whether the Igbo nation will remain united or divided by fear. If Nigeria can adopt a man illegally, detain him without trial, ignore foreign court rulings, disregard UN directives, and get away with it, then nobody is safe. Today is Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow, do you know who is going to be tomorrow? Tomorrow, it could be anyone. It could be anybody. an idea that scares Nigerians' power brokers. He calls for referendum and self-determination, threatening entrenched political and economic interests in Abuja. Billions of dollars in oil revenue come from the southeast and south-south. If Biafra becomes independent, many elites lose control of resources. This is why they want to silence the man, not debate the idea. Historically, Igbos have faced systematic marginalization since the Civil War ended in 1970. Decades of political exclusion created an environment of fear and surveillance. Many elites prioritize personal safety over collective interest. Until Igbos unite behind a common cause, they will continue to be divided and weakened politically. In South Africa, Julius Malema openly calls for land reform and economic liberation. He isn't jailed. In Eritrea, Isaiah once fought for independence. Today, he's respected globally. In Sudan, George Garang fought for the South and was liberated even in the North. In Nigeria, a peaceful call for a referendum leads to abduction, torture, and indefinite detention. The double standard shows Africa's selective justice system. The continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu has fueled insecurity in the southeast. Eastern Security Network versus Nigerian military clashes, rise of unknown government, economic paralysis due to sit-at-home protests. Even the southeast governors admit that resolving Nnamdi Kanu's case is the key to restoring peace. The government knows his detention destabilizes the region, but chooses chaos over dialogue. The UN Human Rights Council ruled Kanu's detention illegally and demanded compensation. The Nigerian government has ignored the directive. Such defense threatens Nigeria's international reputation and foreign investment. No serious investor trusts a country that ignores its own courts and the UN. Nnamdi Kanu's legal team has petitioned the ICC over alleged human rights violations, torture, and illegal rendition. If the ICC escalates this case, Nigerian top security officials could face personal sanctions and international arrest warrants. The Nigerian government risks global disgrace if it continues ignoring lawful process. The Nigerian Bar Association claims to defend the rule of law but failed to address illegal rendition, human rights violation, and judicial manipulation. By staying silent, the NBA is setting a precedent where governments can abuse the law without resistance. If lawyer fails to defend justice today, tomorrow nobody's rights are safe. Nobody. Beyond Nnamdi Kanu, this case exposes Nigeria's authoritarian tendency. Journalists are harassed, peaceful protesters are jailed, minority voices are silenced. Amnesty International has repeatedly condemned Nigeria's gross human rights violation. This is no longer just about Biafra, it's about democracy itself. Across the US, UK, and EU, Biafran groups are gaining traction. Lobbying international lawmakers, hosting awareness campaigns, pressuring government to intervene diplomatically, Nigeria risks facing international isolation if it continues to suppress self-determination movements unlawfully. Nelson Mandela, this is just a lesson from Nelson Mandela's struggle. Nelson Mandela was once called a terrorist by apartheid South Africa. Today, he is celebrated as a global symbol of justice. Nnamdi Kanu faces the same state-sponsored demonization, but history may vindicate him. The Nigerian government should learn from history. Oppression only delays. Should learn from history. Oppression only delays freedom. It never stops. The Southeast crisis cannot be solved militarily. The Kenya court ruling, UN directive, and rising insecurity prove that force has failed. And this is the solution to it. Immediate release or transparent trial for Nnamdi Kanu, open channels for referendum discussion, international mediation by the UN, AU, or ECOWAS. Now, while leaders and institutions fail, ordinary citizens hold the real power. Through protests, through social media advocacy, through international petitions, if Nigerians unite across ethnic and religious divides, injustice is going to crumble. This fight is bigger than Nnamdi Kanu. It's about the soul of Nigeria. If a government can adopt a citizen abroad, defy court orders, ignore the UN, and keep someone to indefinite detention without trial, then nobody is safe. Today it's Nnamdi Kanu, tomorrow it could be anyone who dares to speak truth to power. That is justice. Nnamdi Kanu's extraordinary rendition from Kenya has been declared illegal by the Kenya High Court. The UN has demanded his release, yet Nigeria continues to defy the law. Justice delayed is justice denied. And Nnamdi Kanu's case proved that Nigerian judiciary is on trial. So guys, let me know what you guys really think about this by dropping your comment below. And also, if you're coming across this my channel for the first time, please do well to hit the subscribe button and make sure you turn on the notification bell to get all the latest news in your channel, in my channel. And also, there's a normal ritual we normally do here. This is in order to make the Nigerian government to be aware that this man is innocent. So please do well to type in the comment section free mass Nnamdi Kanu. Just like I've always said, I said that this thing is not going to cost you anything much. Please just do well to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get all the latest news in this channel, especially when we drop new videos concerning Nnamdi Kanu and other political news. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you guys again in my next live section.